Next question is from William Brake. What are the indicators that I am training with the right volume?
Okay, so you're progressing, you're getting stronger, you're getting better at your lifts, and then here's the biggest one. You feel good.
Yeah, just so you don't have aches and pains.
You feel good. You're not sore. You're not lethargic and burnt out and tired. You don't need tons of pre-workout just to make you, get you through the workout. You feel super energized. You feel healthy and you feel good. Now, here's the challenge with that. I still get challenged with this to this day. I'm 43 years old. I've been doing this forever. When I feel good and I feel energized, the first thing I think is
more.
Let me add more.
Yeah.
Because I feel so good, I could do more. That's a huge mistake, because then you start to go down the other side, which is the point of diminishing returns, and then negative returns. Actually, we'll start to get less for time spent, and then I'll push to the point where I start to get backwards with my progress. So those are the main things. Is like, you got to feel good.
The other challenge that people have with this too, though, is actually applying too much volume right out the gates. Right. So,
yeah.
And we haven't said it on the podcast a long time. I've been on here many times saying that, our goal is to do as little as possible to elicit the most amount of change. So if you're just getting started and you're trying to figure out, like, how do I know I'm doing the right volume? Well, the right volume is as little as possible to elicit change. So if I'm actually doing just a few exercises and my body is slowly building muscle, I'm burning fat, I'm getting fitter, I'm getting stronger, leave it until you start to see that progress slow or stall, and then increase volume. And that was something that I didn't understand for a really long time. I always went to the whole, if I feel good, I could do more, more. More will get me more muscle, when, again, it's not like that. It's like this fine dance that we're doing. And if you are applying too much volume too soon, you may not see the negative things, like the joints hurting and maybe even stalling of progress yet, but you're doing more than you need to in order to elicit change. And so keep that in mind.
It's not about how much you can do to get results. It's about how little you can do to get results. Yeah. Literally, that's what it's all about, because doing more or going past the point of ideal means you're going to get less and worse results. And then you combine that with the fact that you're using more time up in the gym, wasting more time in the gym. It's like it's massively inefficient. It's a terrible approach to exercise, but it's a tough one, because, again, when you feel good, especially if you love exercise, you think, well, I can do more. By the way, before you add volume, because I know you said that, Adam, like, you feel good and your progress starts to stall, add volume. There's a lot of things you could do before you even add volume.
Yeah.
Change the exercise, add the load, make the exercise itself more intense.
Just your rest periods.
That's it.
All the acute variables you can manipulate.
Before adding volume.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, I think that you guys pretty much nailed what I was going to say anyway. So,
well, I mean, I think where this adding volume is one of the simplest, quickest ways to build muscle. It's the best formula for that. Like, in fact, I didn't become like a big volume tracker until the competitive days, because that's when it really started to, like, when I had to go show over show, and if I was going to win, I had to improve every single, and that for the first time in my life, I had to get that crazy about it, where I was.
Now, what was the formula you used? What was it? It was weight times sets times reps?
Yeah. Sets, reps, weight, and multiply all of them out.
That's your total volume.
Yeah, and I did that per muscle group, right? So if and then what I would do is each show I would go, okay, I'm going to try and improve. I would maintain the rest of maintain my volume on my other muscles. And then the one I'm focusing on, I would drive volume up, and I would creep it up over the weeks leading into my prep.
Was there a number of volume that you would aim for? Like, you're not going to do a crazy jump in volume.
No,
like 5%.
Very little.
Okay,
it was very,
as long as it was going up.
In fact, the goal was always to every week. Because here's what I found was interesting. So the goal was always to make sure I at least hit the same volume, if not just a tiny bit more.
Tiny bit. Okay.
Yeah, because. What I had found when I first started tracking, just like with nutrition, and so you have some eye-opening moments, is that I was like, wow. And I've brought this up a long time ago on the show. Like, what I found is that in our heads, we think we're progressing volume a lot of times, and it's like you just have you had a good week. But then what ends up happening is it corrects. It's interesting how when you're not tracking, you're not paying attention, how easily you kind of fall into homeostasis, where you fall into like a volume you like. And what I found when I first really started tracking diligently, I was like, oh, I actually kind of do this. I'm not doing this,
Right.
you know, or even like this, like, and that's what what I wanted to do was like, okay, here's the beginning of my training. Here's my total volume. And it doesn't matter the number, right? Because I don't remember what my training, it depends on how strong you are. Cause obviously weight's going to go up, right? If you're stronger, the total volume you move really matters on where you, just like our diet, where am I at now? And then how do I tweak from there? And so I would figure out where, okay, this total volume on all these muscles gives me this physique. Okay, I want a better chest. So now the training protocol the next 3 to 4 months, I've got to maintain the volume on everything I'm doing and slightly increase it just a tiny bit on my chest week over week. And when I was tracking, again, what I had saw in the past was I would typically do this, where now the goal was to just barely.
Now, one thing I want to add, because again, the formula for those of you that missed it, it's weight times sets times reps. Now, that's within an appropriate or reasonable rep range. And the reason why I say that, so I would go 5 to 15 reps is where I would stay within, because you can mess with this formula by doing like 100 reps with a lightweight. Now it looks like you're doing tons of volume, but 100 reps is not really muscle building, right?
Sure.
So because you kept your reps within those reasonable ranges.
Yes.
But within that, then you would do the formula.
Well, what I really did was I followed our like MAPS protocol as far as our foundational training, and then this is how we built Aesthetic.
Yep.
You know, I was following a very MAPS anabolic type of protocol, but then the way I modified it was increasing volume on specific muscles that I wanted to, and that is the birth of MAPS Aesthetic. Was basically how I would go after it. Now, obviously in MAPS Aesthetic, we kind of lay it out for people, but we know that it's going to calculate to be more volume because we're adding these focus sessions days. And so that was the logic behind that programming was that is how I approached getting ready for a show is I had my foundational training. And then if I wanted to change body parts, I would just slowly increase volume on those 1 to 2 areas per show.
Look, if you like Mind Pump, head over to mindpumpfree.com and check out some of our guides. These guides are free, and we have a lot of them that can help you with almost any health or fitness goal. You can also find all of us on social media. So Justin is on Instagram at MindPumpJustin. Adam is on Instagram at MindPumpAdam, and you can find me on Twitter at MindPumpSal.